Hi everyone, welcome to Go All In show here on ABC 15. My name is Nim Stant, I'm the host, and today we have our special guest with us, Mr. Howard Brown. Thank you so much for being here in the house.
I'm so excited and thrilled to, one, meet you in person and to be able to record with you. I've been following you and we've been developing our friendship and
Yes.
Just so excited to be here. Thank you for having me on.
No, thank you so much. Howard fly in to Arizona last night from
Michigan.
All right, super excited. So tell us a little bit about your story. Howard has written this book, Shine Brightly, and became an International Impact Book Award winning author and bestseller on Amazon. So, but your story is not just that. Not the bestseller. So share with us a little bit about your backstory. How is it happen? And then it's turned into this book.
I've had, we all get knocked down in life.
Yes.
Right. So it can be from business, it can be from health, it can be from relationships. Life knocks you down. Life knocked me down hard.
Yes.
I've got stage 4 cancer two times. Twice in my life. Once at age 23.
Okay.
I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, blood cancer of the lymphatic system. And then at age 50, I had a colonoscopy and I was stage 3. And then a year later, metastatic stage 4 colon cancer. Not only did I actually have, my ups and downs in life that we all have, I had health issues.
Right.
But the great part and why I'm shining brightly, I'm here, I'm alive, I'm good right now. Repairing myself, I call it putting Humpty Dumpty back together again, the old nursery rhyme.
Howard, since I know you, like you always smile and you
Yes.
always have that positive energy inside you. Like I can feel it from your voice. I can see it from your picture out there on social media and the content that you put it out. I just want to jump into the point, like, how did you overcome that? Because a lot of people go through not even like have to mention stage 4 cancer, right? How do you overcome that and keep that positivity? Because this is what our Go On show about.
There's a couple of really deep lessons. So one, the reason that it's called Shining Brightly is that we all have a light that's inside of us. And that light can get very dim and dark.
Yeah.
If you have a health issue, if you have addiction, a divorce, lots of things in life can dim that light.
Right.
The ability to illuminate that light is really important. So
Yeah.
the first time that I got cancer, I was 23. I moved home with mom and dad, right?
Yeah.
And I call myself a deer in the headlights. I had no idea what I was doing in 1989.
Right.
No computers,
Right.
no cell phone,
Yeah.
no internet. I didn't know. I was 23 years old and they told me I was going to die.
Do they give you how long you have left?
They're not supposed to, but because
Right.
only God knows.
Right.
But yes, they told me they do not know if they could cure me. And I was failing all the chemotherapies. But part of my wonderful light is that my mom and dad had twins. I have a twin sister.
Okay.
And that becomes a really important piece because
Okay.
when all hope was lost, my twin sister, she typed for bone marrow transplant
Okay.
and she was 100% match.
Wow.
It's a 25% chance that she could be a match.
Wow.
It
You had
worked.
that chance. That's a
My
blessing.
twin sister saved my life with her bone marrow.
Oh my goodness.
She gave me life.
This is not happen all the time. This is like the 0.1%.
Well, in 1990, it was
Yeah.
fairly newer, not so new. And so I had to go back and basically start to repair my life again.
Right. So what do you mean by repairing your life? What did you do exactly? Does it change your mindset since 23 at that time?
You get broken down to your core.
Yeah.
So how you build back up is up to you and the people that you surround yourself with.
Right.
So I had a close-knit family. My twin sister, gave me the medical technology and her bone marrow.
Right.
So I ran away to California
Okay.
because I wanted to have warm weather.
Sure.
I wanted to have the beach
Yes.
and I wanted sunshine.
Okay.
So that was first. I had to put myself in an environment where I could heal.
Right.
That's the first thing. The second is that old habits are hard to break.
Sure.
So I started being a workaholic again because that's what I was used to.
Sure.
So I got back to work. My career is going well.
What did you do at that time?
I'm in technology.
Okay.
And so I was working for a big computer company and I went back to work. But I was working on myself. You have to, first lesson, lift up yourself, self-care,
Yes.
work-life balance,
Yes.
nutrition, mental health, mindset, mental toughness, physical health, working out. I was being selfish, and you need to. lift up yourself.
Yes.
Okay. So if I could lift up myself, then lesson number 2, lift up others.
Yes.
Because that's why we're placed on this earth, is to help each other in times of need, but also in times of beautiful joy too.
Right.
To come celebrate together.
So you moved to California, you healed yourself,
Yes.
and then 50 years old,
Yes.
cancer hit again.
It's the story in between first is
Yeah.
that I met the love of my life. That's the name of the chapter. My wife, Lisa, now of 28 years in Southern California, in Los Angeles, Santa Monica area.
Oh, I love Santa Monica.
And we got married at
Yes.
Shutters on the Beach overlooking the Pacific Ocean. And then I moved up to Silicon Valley.
Yes.
And here's the crazy story. This is going back to cancer, number 1.
Sure.
Before I ever did any chemotherapy, my wise doctor, Eric Rubin, who was a Harvard fellow at the time.
Wow.
So I came in the day to do first chemotherapy, and they said, your blood tests are off. Your liver function tests are high. We're not doing chemotherapy today. And I was like, well, I stood up all night worrying. I've never done an infusion before. What do I do?
Yeah.
He says, we're going on a field trip. I go, where? He goes, to the cryogenic center. I said, cryo what? What's a cryogenic center? And it's the sperm bank. And I said, you told me I'm going to die. Why do I need to go there? He goes, what else are you going to do today? Go do it. Go drop off a sample. So I did it.
Okay.
And then you kind of forget about it, right?
Right.
So, but I get married and I moved to Silicon Valley, and Lisa and I want to have a family.
Sure.
Now, I was part of the craziness happening in Silicon Valley. Startups, the .com and the .bomb and all that
Yes.
stuff happening at the end of the 90s. I was part of all that.
Wow.
But I was a workaholic.
Yeah.
So my wife sat me down and said, if we want to have a family together, you got to be home for dinner.
This is not going to work.
Yeah, you got to be home for dinner. So we then contracted and got the sperm flown out on ice, to San Jose, and we went through in vitro fertilization. And one became my beautiful, healthy daughter, Emily, in August of 2001. All right, my twin sister saved my life through a bone marrow transplant. My frozen kidsicle, Emily, is a miracle. 2 miracles
Yes.
in my life.
Yes.
And now she's 21 and going to graduate the University of Michigan. So it was great. Everything's good. And then at 50 years old, my doctor says, time for your colonoscopy. Time to go get screened. I was like, okay. So I signed up. I ended up getting the flu. So I postponed it till June 4th of 2016. And I'm in pretty good shape,
Yeah.
right? So I wake up. I do the prep.
Yeah.
Prep's the worst part. The colonoscopy is no big deal. But I wake up. My wife, Lisa, has my hand. And I look up at the doctor and I say, Doc, everything okay? And he says, no, I found something. And when I find something, it's bad news. It was bad news. Stage 3 colorectal cancer, specifically colon cancer. Within 2 weeks, I had 13 inches of my colon removed. And they thought that was good. Then they install a chemotherapy port, which I still have. And then you start chemotherapy. Well, chemotherapy is awful.
How did you feel at that time? Were you confused? Were you disappointed and angry? Or did you feel?
Yes. I was all of those because you get life interrupted again.
Yeah.
Life interrupted again. You go through a range of emotions. Now, at age 23, deer in the headlights, right? Denial, anger, raging steroids. I mean, all the stuff that you don't show on social media. You try to be positive and be strong, be an inspiration. No, the darkness came in.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the second time around, it took me a few months, but this time I was more like a Marine on a mission. I had to go, do whatever I could do. Why? Different motivation.
Yeah.
My daughter's a freshman in high school.
Exactly.
I wanted to see her graduate.
Sure.
I had more living to do.
Right.
So she always says from the line, The Shawshank Redemption, that it's time to get busy living. So I basically put on my mental toughness and said, I'm going after this thing. I joined this support group called Colon Town, and I met thousands of people that were fighting the fight. And were there to support me and answer my questions and mentor me. I call it cancer whispering.
Yeah, wow.
It's amazing. And now I'm a cancer whisperer to others that
Sure.
are still fighting their fight
Right.
and getting through it, because it's so much easier when you bring in others. So what I learned, you can't do this alone. You need to actually ask and be selfish for help.
And that's not just for the cancer perspective.
No.
It's not just for the health perspective. In everything in your life.
That's right. And I got great news in September of 2000 and I think it was 17. I got what's called regression. Regression is called shrinkage. The old Seinfeld thing with George Costanza, shrinkage. I made fun of it, but it was really important. That's the first piece of good news I got since I got diagnosed. I would share on the internet as much positive as I could. And the amount of just good feelings I would get back was incredible.
Right.
And then the local neighbors, healthy food, drinks, meals, taking care of my family,
Really?
anything we need.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Emily's school sent us like supplies, cleaning supplies.
Wow.
And so it was really a whole big team effort. And so like many things in life, fighting cancer has to be a team sport.
I'm so grateful for you to come to this show, seriously, because like our audience need this message right now, because you never know, right? Like what all the people challenging is happening in their life right now, but your message right there just helps someone survive. Talk about the book a little bit.
Sure.
When did you start writing this? When did you have time and energy to write this?
Okay, so first of all, my publisher, Frontage Publishing, and my dear friend David Crum and his team is amazing. He saw me and he heard that I was going to die. So he called me up and he said, will you meet me for coffee? And I said, okay. And on a napkin, he said, Howard, you need to leave your legacy. You need to leave a legacy. And I was
so
like,
he wrote on the napkin
10 chapters, titles. And he showed it to me and he said, you think about this. I said, well, it's not on my bucket list. I think it's nice, but I'm not a good writer. I don't have a transcript. So I said to him, I don't know if I want to do this, but let me think about it. All right. So a week goes by. I called him back. I said, David, I have one condition. He goes, only one? I said, yeah, only one. I said, I know my strengths. I'm a very good speaker. I said, if you will, record me on Zoom, okay, and let me invite all the influential people, family, mentors in my life. I said, I'll write a book with you. I called people that I hadn't talked to in years. It was the coolest thing ever because you never get to do it. Those transcripts on Zoom became draft chapters, okay? And now I got a manuscript.
I love that.
It's the coolest thing ever.
And
that's how the book came to be.
What's the promise of the book, Howard?
This is a book of life lessons. This is how to live a resilient life using hope. The last chapter is called Sharing Hope.
So it doesn't matter what problem you have.
No. This book, it gives homework. It tells you
Okay.
what to do to help improve yourself. And it just shares with you my story, okay?
For sure.
And my lessons that I learned in my life, the mistakes I learned. Now, this is a very different book. Normally, the author is talking at you.
Yeah.
Not in my book. I'm on Zoom, and I'm basically narrating and being the maestro because on certain Zoom interviews, we're forgetful, we're disagreeing, we're fighting, we're laughing, we're joking. So I'm telling the story in a room of people. And so the big takeaway, besides light shining through all the chapters, is that I came to a realization that I'm going to live, but it's not what I can get out of life. The major theme is what you can give back to life. And that is how I live my life now. So my whole job is not to go back to work in corporate.
Right.
Not to be a workaholic, not to go work at a technology startup and whatever I'm going to do and never be around. I want to motivate, educate, and inspire.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here.
You are right now. And that's why this book, everybody, you guys need to read and really study this, because you can apply to use in your life for sure. Share with us a little bit about your legacy from now on. So you have your book, you've been interviews with many platforms, but now what? Like, share with us what is your legacy look like from now on?
My legacy is basically trying to take the lessons that I'm teaching and live them. You can talk the talk, but do you walk the walk?
Right.
And can I inspire one person each day? Okay. Go get a colonoscopy and go get screened. Go find your happy place. Go lift yourself up. Go lift up others. Go shine your light and go help the world. Make it a better place. Listen, we live in a negative society where there's school shootings and there's an insurrection and there's a war in the Ukraine. I try to use my mental toughness and live with positivity. And my daughter always says, not positivity alone, positivity with action. That's what you got to do.
One thing that I love about you, Howard, is that you don't play the victim role, right? You play the victory role. How can we not playing the victim role? Because you can just blame everything in life, blame God, blame whatever, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Like how can we overcome playing that victim role?
So you have to take stock of where you're at, right? And you can use a scale of 1 to 10. Where are you with your family? Where are you in with your relationships, the important ones? Where are you with work? Where are you with health? Where are you with emotions? And score them. And if you don't like those scores, what are you going to do about it? You have to be in charge of yourself, but you can go get help.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it alone.
That's the key, right?
Absolutely.
Don't do it alone.
No. Don't do
Even
it alone.
though the situation might make you feel like a victim right now, but don't do it alone.
Right. And so when I talk to you about cancer whispering or mentorship,
Yes.
there's a big theme of mentorship in the book, and that's the don't do it alone piece. So go look for mentors. Many people will be mentors now. They call them coaches.
And we don't have to pay always.
Always, no,
right?
no. I don't pay for a coach right now. But
Yeah.
also, there's lots of people that need you
Right.
because you have your own world experience and your own view, and you can help others. So, for example, I am now at a different stage of colorectal cancer. I'm in survivorship. I'm not in diagnosis. I'm not in treatment. And I am talking and helping others and trying to just brighten their day. Sometimes it's just listening.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm giving them real advice.
And it's not just the person that have cancer that like feel discouraged. What about the family, right? What the message that you want to share with the caregiver, the family, the people around the patient?
Oh my God, I'm so glad you brought that up because I don't want to forget it.
Yes.
All right, there's superheroes in this world. There are superheroes in the world we live in. Remember, I'm talking about a miracle from bone marrow transplant, a miracle daughter, a miracle surgery that saved my life. Miracles, okay? Or else I wouldn't be here, right? All right, but I didn't do it alone. So my mom and dad, my mom specifically, my caregiver for cancer 1. My wife, amazing Wonder Woman superhero Lisa, to take care of me for 2, right? But I had also groups of people doing it called infusion nurses. Imagine your job to stick a needle in someone with poison to save their life. How do you do that every day? Right. So my infusion nurses are superheroes. My doctors and nurses are superheroes. And under COVID, so I went from cancer to COVID.
Right.
Everybody felt limited. Everybody felt emotionally drained. We're coming out of this, and I am really worried about our school kids. They missed the whole 2 years worth of education. But that caregiver, okay, if you're doing it alone, it gets dark and it gets depressive and everything suffers.
Yeah.
Okay. So you need others. So my caregivers, without them, I wouldn't be here. And they are my superheroes.
So keep being the superhero, keep being who you are and supporting that. Well, how can our audience find this book?
So it's on Amazon. So for the hardcover, the soft copy, and then the Kindle, which is great. And we're in pre-order. The worldwide release is September 27th. So I would love your support if people would like to actually get a copy of the book. Now, what I learned is because they don't do so many book signings, if you come to my website, www.shiningbrightly.com, and you register and just tell me where to mail a book plate, I will custom a book plate and send it to, and then you can put the sticker right on the inside of the book, and you then get an autographed copy. And I'll do that for anyone.
That's awesome.
So it's called a book plate.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
All right. So anything else that you want to share with us before we leave?
Yes. So I definitely want to share with you something. I have a gift.
What is that?
Because this is my trademark.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to put these on. Yes. Okay. Nim?
Yes, Howard.
We are shining brightly together to make the world a better place.
Let's shining brightly together with Howard Brown. Thank you so much, Howard, for being here with Go In Show.